First Merchants Bank. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper. Get ready to learn more about the Columbus Blue Jackets players and coaches, as well as find out what's going on this week in the NHL. Now let's join Bob McElligott and Dylan Tyre for the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank.
Welcome to the Inside Edge, the summer edition here, one of these summer editions. Bob McElligott and Dylan Tyre with you. And coming up on tonight's show, we're taking this opportunity over the summer to introduce you to some new Blue Jackets prospects. They were just here last week for development camp. Charlie Ellick and Tanner Henricks will both be a part of tonight's show. You'll get to meet them and hear about them and what went through their minds at the draft and at development camp and all of that stuff. So that's what we've got for you. But Dylan, let's start it off. And I know that a lot of people want to know about a coach for the Blue Jackets. And again, it's still radio silence when it comes to that. But let's start it off talking about a defenseman, because the Blue Jackets today, early today, announced that they re-signed Jake Christensen to a one-year, two-way contract. Now, Jake Christensen, he might be in the best spot that he has ever been in this organization. I mean, he had a very good year in Cleveland. He played some games here in Columbus last year as well. But he was a really important part of the Monsters. They got him back during the playoffs. He played extremely well. I know this is kind of a show-me contract, but for where the Blue Jackets are right now with the prospects that they have coming, it's another opportunity for Jake, and that's a good thing because he's a good guy. He can play a good game. We've seen a little bit of that, so I'm happy for him.
I agree with you, Bob. I think it's a good contract for Jake Christensen, and I really think it's a good contract for the Blue Jackets and the Monsters as well, obviously. You know, it's a two-way deal, so he'll get more money in the National Hockey League, but he's guaranteed $400,000 next season, no matter the level he plays at. So it's good for Jake Christensen, and you said, you know, kind of a prove-it deal. It is, in a sense, because obviously Don Waddell is the new general manager of the Blue Jackets, in addition to being the president of hockey operations. I don't want to leave that out, but he really has proven himself, right? He's one of the better defensemen in Cleveland Monsters history at this point. He had a terrific year last season, 46 points in 62 games with Cleveland, played 12 games with the Blue Jackets. He's now played 44 NHL games. He's really looking for that NHL opportunity. So I would not be surprised to see Jake Christensen play games in the National Hockey League next season. It's really that opportunity. You know, I talked with a few people around development camp, you know, people with the Blue Jackets that have spent a lot of time watching Jake Christensen in Cleveland, and people believe that he's an NHL defenseman. The people down there believe that Jake Christensen is an NHL defenseman. It's just a matter of getting that extended opportunity in the National Hockey League, improving it. You know, he's not necessarily a huge guy by any means. He's 6 foot, about 195, 200 pounds. So it's not like he's going to be overtly physical by any means. That's not his game in the NHL, right? He's more of a two-way offensive-minded defenseman. You know, the defense has come a long way for him. If you remember, when the Blue Jackets signed him out of the WHL, his game was all offense. His last season in the WHL, he scored 22 goals in 38 games. So it was just a matter of picking up defensively after that. And the defense has come along, and they always say that about, you know, young defensemen, right, that it takes you 200 or so pro games to really come along. And he's at that point in his professional career right now that I think he's become the player that he envisioned himself being when he first signed with the Blue Jackets organization. And now he really needs to break the door down and prove that he can be here. And again, I think I said it last week, training camp is a long way off at this point. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but can you imagine how big this training camp is going to be for Jake Christensen? Like, this is a huge, huge camp for Jake Christensen. New GM, new head coach, a great opportunity to prove yourself in a camp that's going to be extremely competitive. As it stands right now, you know, the Blue Jackets might need a seventh defenseman. We don't know how it's all going to shake out with where guys play this season, but could Jake Christensen be that guy that slots in as your sixth or seventh D and maybe even proves himself to be more than that? I don't think it's, you know, out of the possibility whatsoever. He could really prove himself during camp.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. And if you look at the Blue Jackets defense, you know, there are players that were part of the top six last year that just aren't here anymore. Jake Bean, no longer part of it. Adam Boquist is no longer a part of it. So there are opportunities. And as you were talking about all that, the one thing that was going through my mind was Don Waddell talking about development and how he is really of the mindset that you don't need to rush people. So there are so many people that think that Denton Matejchuk's going to come into camp. He's going to win a spot. he's going to be in the National Hockey League, and that very well could happen. The way he stepped into the American Hockey League during the playoffs last year and played like he had been there all season long was really, really impressive. But we're talking about taking another really big step in order to make it to the NHL right out of training camp. So it may happen, but if it doesn't happen, this is a great opportunity for a guy like Jake because, as you mentioned, 44 games in this league, 200 pro games. I mean, he is – look at the Jake Bean spot right there, right? I mean, third pair, left side defenseman, Jake Christensen. We've seen him do it. We know that he can do it. We've seen him play with Goodbranson. It's a decent pairing there with those guys. It's a good pairing with those guys. So that's why I think it's a really big thing for him because it's easy to assume that Juracek and Matejchuk are definitely making this team out of camp, but I don't think you should assume anything with this general manager. You can't assume anything based on the head coach because you don't even know who the heck that's going to be at this point in time. You have some ideas, but even you don't have specifics on what they're looking for and what they know about certain people. So, yeah, I think the door is wide open as it has ever been for Jake Christensen. And, oh, by the way, he's also training with some, teammates that are some pretty good players in Kent Johnson that he's always around, and now Caden Lindstrom, who was the first-round pick of the Blue Jackets, is part of that mix. So I think there will be a lot of excitement for the group coming into this camp, and Jake's going to want to keep up with those two guys. There's no doubt.
Yeah, I've used the word competitiveness. I think that is going to be the mantra of this Blue Jackets training camp. Again, new management, new GM, new head coach, guys wanting to prove themselves, guys really needing to step up into new roles on this team. You think about a player like a Kent Johnson that really wants to establish himself in the top six. Where's Cole Sillinger going to fit in? Now you have some center depth in this organization. Is he going to be the third-line center? Is he going to be the fourth-line center? Is he going to be forced to move to the wing if they want to have Boone Jenner play down the middle? That's a question that I think needs to be answered. Of course, I think it's irresponsible at this point to try and forecast the future and what's going to happen, but I will say this. My gut tells me Denton Matejchuk will not be on the Blue Jackets to start the season. I think, based off the way that Don Waddell has talked, and he's done so very carefully, I think Denton Matejchuk starts the season with AHL Cleveland. You look at what Cleveland has on the left side between he and Stanislav Svozil. You probably want those guys to be playing top 4 minutes on the left side in the American Hockey League. Where does that leave Jake Christensen? I think it leaves Jake Christensen on the Blue Jackets as that number 6 or 7 defenseman. Jack Johnson was signed. He's going to be in that mix as well. So that's a long way of saying I think Jake Christensen will start the season in the NHL, just the way that the rosters will shake out at that point and what you want in the AHL and what he can provide in the NHL. Long way of saying, again, good deal for Jake, great opportunity for him, good deal for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I agree on all counts, and I would not be surprised if that scenario plays out at the beginning of camp, or at the beginning of the season coming out of camp, rather, because of, with Matejchuk, he's got to get the minutes. They're going to want him to where he's getting big minutes. If they don't feel that they're going to be able to provide that in the NHL, the best place to get it is the American Hockey League. By the way, with us saying that doesn't mean that if it starts that way in October, it's still going to be that way in March, because
it could change in a month.
It can change, and yeah, that's what I was going to say. By Christmas, it could be completely different, depending upon how Matejchuk goes down. And let's say you want to see him play for 20, 25 games and see where it's going and get some kind of an idea. You're going to have I think with that guy, and again, watching the small sample size of him playing as a pro in the spring here, you're going to get answers within that sample size. So, so good for Jake Christensen. Again, good guy, a guy that works hard. He's a good team guy. Look, it's now the middle of July, so these signings are not going to be huge and glorious right now, but it is good to have somebody that has given their all as part of this organization for the last couple of years. He was a restricted free agent. He now has a 1-year contract, and it's up to him to see what he does with it.
Yeah, there will be a little bit of intrigue in these coming days and coming weeks, though, with some other RFAs on the Blue Jackets. You think about a player like Kirill Marchenko that needs to be signed, Cole Sillinger RFA, Kent Johnson RFA. All of these different players are going to be getting contracts. So it'll be very intriguing to me to see how all these different numbers work out and how they come in. Cap friendly's not a thing anymore. The Washington Capitals bought that. So if you're a wannabe GM like myself and you always go on cap friendly to look at the salary cap situations and contracts, you can't go there anymore. You have to go to Puckpedia. I was on Puckpedia this morning looking at all the Blue Jackets contracts, and I was saying, this guy needs to sign, this guy needs to sign. Oh, they got to fit it in. with this amount of cap space. I think the Blue Jackets have just under $20 million of cap space right now, and just a few contracts that still have to be signed. So I'm curious to see how it all plays out. I'm intrigued to see what Don Waddell does, because it's his first time doing this with the CBJ.
See, big difference between me and you. I'd never want to be a GM. And I'll tell you, I can give you a really good reason based on everything you just said. Too much math.
Well, I agree with you on that. I stink at doing math, which is why it's nice that I have a website like Puckpedia that I can go to do it all for me.
Too much math. Still, I don't care. It's still too much math for me to plug that in. All right, coming up next, we're going to introduce you to a couple of new Blue Jackets defensive prospects. And we're going to start next with a guy that was taken in the second round by the Blue Jackets in Las Vegas. He's big. He can be a little bit mean. We'll let him tell you all about himself. Charlie Ellick will join us as the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, continues here on 97.1 The Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
Pre-order the new Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 and Z Flip 6 powered by Galaxy AI with Spectrum-free anytime upgrade. Use Circle to search with Google to see more and search more on the large Z Fold 6 screen. Or capture perfectly framed pics using FlexCam and Z Flip 6. Pre-order through Spectrum and get up to $1,000 off, plus double the storage on us. Hurry, offer ends July 23rd. Visit a Spectrum store or SpectrumMobile.com today. Offer subject to change, valid for qualified residential customers only. Service not available in all areas. Restrictions apply.
Hey, it's Anthony for the Good Feet store. 3 words for me: pain-free summer. Spent probably 30 hours walking around the Memorial Tournament and felt awesome with my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store in my everyday kicks. Sure, every now and then we all get random foot pain from pickleball or golf or just being a human being. Having my personally fit arch supports in my shoes has made a massive difference. And even right after I put them in, didn't take long to feel much more supported and aligned, and it's so easy to just move them into any pair. Before I had them, I dreaded being on my feet for any length of time. Well, you have nothing to lose but the pain, as they say. It's a free fitting and test walk. Try them for yourself. See the difference it can make. It did for me. And best of all, you can wear them home. 2 locations on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road, or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com. The Good Feet store, America's arch supports experts.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts next weekend. For 3 days only, next Friday through Sunday, get 20% off. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts next Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com. Bobby Carpenter once sold workout equipment on QVC Canada. There's no joke here. That actually happened. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
America's favorite car show returns to Ohio for the biggest hot rodding event of the year. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all taking place this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center in Columbus. Check out thousands of chrome and candied hot rods, muscle cars, and trick trucks. Shop the huge swap meet at Vendor Midway and see which rides take home the crown of the Good Guys 2024 Classic Instrument Street Rod and PPG Street Machine of the Year. It's all happening this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center, and you don't want to miss it. Get complete details at good-guides.com.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean, interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
As the official financial services partner of your Columbus Blue Jackets, Bread Financial is ready to join the fifth line and light the fuse. And that's not just cannon fodder. They offer simple, personalized payment, lending, and savings solutions. From the Bread Cashback American Express credit card to high-yield savings, CDs, and even buy now, pay later options, you'll find financial solutions for any budget. Shoot and score at breadfinancial.com.
Everyone has that one goal, that thing they want to prove, not to other people, but to themselves. Then, right when you think you could actually do it, cancer. And that goal is still within reach. I would know. I'm about to run my first ever marathon with my two best friends. 3 years after having cancer.
At least we look good in these shorts.
Woo! Let's get it, guys. You, keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Scattered showers, cloudy, windy, and cool on this Wednesday. Temperatures only in the low 70s. Overnight will fall back down to the low 60s with decreasing winds and decreasing clouds. Dry and sunny with low humidity and light breezes on Thursday. Back in the low to mid 80s. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge presented by First Merchants Bank, introducing you to some of the newest Blue Jackets prospects that were put into the system just a couple of weeks ago when the Blue Jackets drafted in Las Vegas, Nevada. With their second-round pick, the Blue Jackets took out of the Western Hockey League a big defenseman in Charlie Ellick. Now, of course, Charlie, like everybody else that was at the Sphere in Vegas, had a dream that they were waiting to come true, and this is how he felt when it happened to him.
Crazy experience. Obviously, dream of him for getting name call of the draft, but no, it was a awesome experience.
Awesome experience there. What's your experience been like here? I know it's been only a couple of sessions on the ice and all that stuff. It's not like a game situation. You guys aren't out there trying to knock each other out or anything like that. But what's the skating been like and the first taste really for you on the NHL?
Oh yeah, no, it's been great. Like the facilities here have been awesome for us, and it's been great time here skating with a bunch of the guys that I've skated against before. But it's a great experience out there. Obviously, a lot of good stuff that we've been working on. It's obviously get some testing done today in the skate testing, but it was it's been great, and kind of deep going here.
I know you guys haven't been around each other a ton yet, but who are some of the guys maybe you didn't know coming into this camp that you've become friends with, or at least that their personalities stand out? Because at least some of the guys that have been here before, I know them pretty well, and there's some good personalities out there.
Yeah, totally. No, a few guys that I kind of get along with now here, like McHugh. He's someone that I was skating with now, and he's someone that pretty good player, but no, he has a personality. It's good to be around. So him, I've actually skated with Pinelli before. He's their agency, so I've skated with him. But another great character, good guy to be around, and obviously good player. So guys like that. But for the other guys like Ashton, he's another good player. Scott Draft is pretty cool. They share that experience with him. Gardner too. They've all been great, and it's been a really good experience learning and just really finding out, picking brains with each other about anything about with these guys. So it's been great.
You bring up Luke Ashton's name right there. I know you're not a small guy yourself, and a lot of the players the Blue Jackets drafted are actually quite big. Nobody's as big as Luke Ashton. That guy's a monster out there. What's it like to play with him, against him?
Oh, yeah, no, it's kind of crazy. First time really looking up at anyone on the ice, but he's a big kid, but he's a good player. Like, he has a rip of a shot, and for someone that big, I think he moves pretty well. So it's, I think it's pretty cool that he's that big, and I think it's going to help someone along the way for sure.
We talked about it a little bit at the draft, but can you tell us more about your path to getting to where you are now, starting off in Austria? Your dad was a pro hockey player there, so How did it all begin for you? I don't think many players in the NHL that consider themselves Canadians or North Americans probably took the ice for the first time in Austria.
Yeah, no, it was crazy times, obviously. Dad was playing over there, was born over there. It's pretty cool. Actually lived there till I was 6 and then moved back to Calgary. But yeah, no, started skating over there probably just turning 3 and really getting into hockey around when I was 3.5, 4. So it was a big step there, but no, I really learned the ins and out of the game. I was on the ice after games with my dad all the time and stuff like that, so it was a pretty great experience over there. And then when I was around 6, the last few there, I was playing against 8-year-olds, so it was pretty cool. But coming back to Calgary, I think it really led me off and brought me to where I am today, being able to experience that.
Can you speak the language or no?
No, I pretty much forgot it now, but I still get hints of it sometimes, but no, I pretty much forgot it. Yeah.
All right. Talk with Charlie Ellick, second-round pick of the Blue Jackets in this year's draft. As a 6-year-old, I would imagine it wasn't that big of an adjustment coming back to Canada, right?
Not too much, no. Obviously, German and English kind of mixed around, but no, I had a few friends who helped me along the way. First time being in that type of city, so it was a pretty cool experience for sure.
All right, so you go from playing hockey there and coming back to Calgary and playing hockey. How much different was that, or was the game any different?
It wasn't too much different. Obviously, being so young at the time, kind of don't really remember what it was like. But I don't think it was too much different. Young kids are going to play the same way, and the good players are going to stand out, stuff like that. So to be honest, I didn't really notice it too much.
What age were you when you started to self-realize that hockey could be something that's good for you?
You know what? Actually, probably when I was like 10 or 11, making the Brick team, I think was kind of the biggest thing for me, because that was a team that everyone wants to make when they're young, Team Brick Alberta, whatever, when you're that young. And then I really started to realize that I could be a good player one day. And here I am today. So it's pretty cool.
Do you, I don't know if you'll remember this, but like looking back on it, is this a surprise to you? I mean, like everybody thinks they're good, or I think as a kid, you're just having fun. And then one day, all of a sudden, maybe this will work out for me. And, or I'm sure you had a lot of friends that it didn't work out that way, right? Guys that are still playing and maybe they're just playing for fun now. They're not playing real competitive or junior or anything like that. So, are you surprised that it's kind of worked out for you, A
little bit, it's kind of still kind of unreal that I'm at an NHL camp, obviously. But no, it's, I think it was just a big growing process that I'm honored to be able to achieve, because as a kid I was one of the best ones that probably in the teams that I played on, but still even that I didn't really think of too much of it. But pretty honored and a little bit surprised at where I am today. But like I said, it's a great thing to be proud of for sure.
A big part of your game is physicality, laying the body. I've watched your highlights and you crushed some guys out there. When did that come for you? Because I know the physicality isn't necessarily for everybody.
No, for sure. You know what? I'd say it was my year after my first bantam year where I kind of really got into that stuff, because I loved hitting. I loved the big hits. That was kind of what I looked into growing up as a kid. I loved the big hits by Cronwall there, stuff like that. So I looked into that. But I think my competitiveness brings it out in me, and I just show that through my competitiveness. I want to win. I want to beat the other team up. So it's something that just comes out in me naturally, and obviously took a time to learn it, but through experience, it's gotten better.
Who were guys in the NHL that kind of inspire you? Because again, when I'm watching your highlights, a lot of it reminds me of Jacob Trouba and some of the hits that he throws with the Rangers. So who are those guys for you?
He'd be one of them. I watch him a lot in his hits and how he times and stuff like that. But no, for sure, I'd say him. I watch a lot of his partner Brady Schneider there. He's someone that I think I can play a lot like one day. Him, Moritz Seider with his reverse hits and stuff like that, kind of just using his big body to his advantage. Just guys like that who can skate well as well.
Did you play any other sports growing up? Because I'm always curious, kind of the multi-sport influence.
I did, I was a pretty good baseball player growing up. I was played AAA all the way up until I went to Brandon for WHL. So it was around 15 when I stopped, but I actually made Team Alberta for third base at the time. So then I got injured and couldn't play, but pretty good baseball player.
Oh, no way. So a heck of a baseball player. Who's your MLB team? Do you have one?
You know what? I'm a big Blue Jay fan.
Okay, makes sense.
Canada boy, but them and the Yankees, I say, are my two top teams,
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And you're living with another former shortstop, third baseman, in Caden Lindstrom, the guy that you play against in the WHL. And we talked to him, and I said, did you ever imagine the guy that you thought you'd be living with someday? And he said he didn't think about it, but it wasn't a surprise.
Yeah.
What about from your standpoint? Just playing against that guy all the time and knowing the kind of game he plays,
For sure.
kind of game you play, and now when it comes to this, you're on the same team.
Exactly. No, I'm proud to be on the same team with him. But it's pretty cool experience to share. We've been talking about it for years that we've fought and now on the same team. But no, it's he's a great guy. His game is really hard to play against for me, I think, and he's going to be an asset on this team for sure. And no, I think he does a lot of things really, really well, and he's a competitor. So I think he brings a lot to the table for sure.
Is it helpful to come into this camp with somebody just like him? Like you said, there's guys out there that obviously, but especially with him because of he's a number 1 pick, you're a number 2 pick. You both have a physical edge, and just you can relate to somebody right off the bat.
Totally. Yeah, no, me and him being on Halinka and winning that, I think brought us really close to then. And playing against each other all year, we kind of battled and did stuff and kind of brought us closer together. So I think that through those experiences, we really bonded. And sure, being 1 and 2 pick is good, but I think we kind of off the gate were already close. So it was obviously honored to be with him here, and no, I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Kind of funny how life plays out sometimes, right? Exactly. I mean, you're already buddies, and then you go number 1, number 2. Who are some of the other guys that coming into this camp that you were familiar with?
Like Chuck, he was I played with him on my first year Bantam team, so I've kind of known him all my life. Pretty cool. But him, Parasek, who's from Edge, he was a guy that I kind of grew up, was on different teams, but I was around him at school all the time. Bernicki, another Calgary kid, guys like that, and then other WHL guys like Richie, Basha, and those type of guys. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
A name that you brought up at the draft was Denton Matejchuk, another WHL defenseman. In fact, WHL defenseman of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to look too far ahead to training camp, but you're going to get experience at training camp with NHL players. Denton Matejchuk isn't quite there yet. He's right on the cusp of becoming an NHL player, but I think you look at him as a little bit of a leader and a role model. Is that fair to say?
Totally, yeah. No, he obviously having the Mem Cup experience last year that he had, I think it's he really led that team all year, and I think that I want to be the same when I get older, obviously for Brandon. But no, yeah, for sure, I'd find him as a leader, and I want to follow in his footsteps for what he's been and what he's doing for sure.
What do you like about Denton Matejchuk's game? Because again, Blue Jackets fans haven't necessarily seen him in Columbus.
For sure. No, I feel like his poise with the puck is what stands out in his game. Like he's really good with the puck, moves the puck really well, and moves his feet with the puck. So I feel like he's really confident in himself in that way. And offensively, I think he's an asset for any team. And really hard for our forwards to get around him and stuff like that. Like I lived with Roger, and he kept saying how hard it was for him to play against him and stuff like that. So, no, yeah, just a guy like that who can bring everything to the table, I think it's going to be really key for sure.
Well, hey, maybe you guys could make a great shutdown pair someday.
That'd be awesome.
How much downtime do you have during this camp?
The first Monday was kind of the easy day, but today and yesterday were kind of having busy days where we kind of all day, and then we got back at 4, and we had dinner, and then you're done for the rest of the night type of thing. It was kind of the same thing today, but no, it's good. We got our good bagger during the day, and then we got our rest during the night. So it's been a good week so far.
When you are away from the rink, what interests do you have? What do you try to do to separate yourself from being a hockey player and just being a regular guy?
You know what? I like to fish a lot. We have a campsite kind of set up 2 hours south of Calgary, with 2 trailers there and stuff, and we go fly fish. Nice, there's no service there, so I just get away from the world a little bit, but it's...
Wait a minute. At your age, there's no service, and you're cool with that? Yeah. My kids, if they see no bars, it's like, hey, you got to speed up, and we got to get to the next cell tower.
For sure. No, it's a great experience for me to kind of get away from that side of life and just go enjoy the moment, go fish with my dad and grandpa and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool out there. We have a dirt bike and go do whatever. We actually just got an old Jeep to ride around out there to eat. So yeah, it's going to be sweet. That and golf. I like golfing. I like going with friends out. So I'd say those are the 2 biggest things for me. Yeah.
You know, the greatest thing about everything you just said is someday when you are a regular here in Columbus with the Blue Jackets, you can get all of that within a 30 to 45-minute drive.
Right? Yeah. I mean, if you didn't know, there's excellent golf around the city of Columbus. Some of the best golf courses in the U.S.
Yeah, I've heard that a little bit. So.
Yeah, the golf you can get within 15 minutes. That's right. You want to do the fishing, you want to go out and dirt bike and all that stuff. I'm telling you, man, within 30 to 45 minutes, you can change the landscape and be wherever you want.
That's awesome. Glad to be here then. No, that's good to know. Sure.
Well, Charlie, we're glad to have you here. And again, congratulations on being picked by the Blue Jackets. Enjoy every second of this, and can't wait to see you back again.
For sure. Thanks so much.
That's defenseman Charlie Ellick. He was selected by the Blue Jackets with their first second-round pick in the draft a couple of weeks ago. Coming up next, we're going to introduce you to another new Blue Jackets defensive prospect. That is Tanner Henricks. He'll sit down with us as the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, continues here on 97.1 The Fan.
Here's a listener tweet. Are men and Bone stupid in real life? Yes. Yes, they are. Common Man and T-Bone.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444 Roof.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career and they talked to me about it.
He was done in just months.
I did do it online.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months with zero experience at My Computer Career.
It worked for me and I know it can work for you.
It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
O'Reilly Auto Parts is your exclusive in-person advance sale ticket outlet for the 2024 Ohio State Fair. Discount admission tickets are $8 at participating stores. Enjoy food, entertainment, animals, rides, and so much more at the Ohio State Fair, July 24th through August 4th. Get advance sale tickets now through Tuesday, July 23rd. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Sunday is a time for brunching with your favorite people. And when they don't invite you, listen to us instead. Fan Sports Sunday with Tito and DeVere Posey.
Sunday morning starting at 11.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Had a devastating knee injury. Tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief. The non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics. And since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. We have all heard the horror stories of someone knocking on the door to offer a free roof inspection, only to go up and illegally create damage to the roof in hopes of trying to push through a new roof to the insurance company. Rather than having to deal with going through the process of filing claims for vandalism, call a company that you can trust. That company is Newman Roofing. They've been working in the community for 32 years. They did my roof. They came to the house. I could trust them with my kids, with my wife, with my family, and they have built a reputation of honesty and integrity. They'll be honest with you on whether or not you need a new roof, whether it's sustained damage in recent storms, and whether there's still life left in it. They'll educate you so you understand what is happening with your roof and answer any questions like they did for me and my family. So whether you need a roof repair or replacement, call the most trusted company in Ohio. Call Newman Roofing at 614-NEW-ROOF or newmanroofing.com.
Can't get enough Blue Jackets conversation? Good news. It's Hockey O'Clock. It's the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McGilligan. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Welcome back to the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott, along with Dylan Tyre. And last week, the Blue Jackets held development camp at Nationwide Arena, and that's where we got a chance to meet Tanner Hendricks. He is a defenseman. Now, he wasn't in Vegas for the draft, so we weren't able to meet him there, weren't able to talk to him there, but we were able to catch up to him last week and ask him what this experience is like, this first really NHL experience for him coming into development camp.
It's truly amazing. It's truly a dream come true. Like, everyone has been so welcoming here. Everyone's just, it's just amazing. The coaches, everything's awesome.
Going into that draft, what was the mindset for you? I mean, were you sure you were going to get picked? Did you know what might happen, and how shocked were you when the Blue Jackets called your name?
I didn't know what was going to happen. I was just watching the draft one day, and I saw my name, and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock. My phone was, blowing up and everything, so it was just truly a dream come true. So I'm super excited, super humbled to be here. So
where were you when it happened?
My family's house, California, Mission Viejo, California. That's where I was.
So you're in California hanging out. You weren't that far from Vegas. You should have come over.
I know. I was thinking about it, but
So you literally just saw your name come up like on the scroller or whatever, and that's
exactly.
how you found out.
My mom actually got a phone call from our agent right before it happened, like the pick right before it, and then she was in shock. She was standing up and everything. She was all excited, and I saw my name, and I couldn't believe it.
All right, so your brother Ty got drafted by the Rangers, right?
Yep.
In the 6th round the year before.
Yep.
So what sort of advice did he give you going into the draft, or did he help you out at all?
He gave me a few, pointers and stuff, but mostly I just watched him go through it, and I feel like that helped out the most. Just what he does, he acts like a pro. So yeah.
All right.
I feel like that really helps.
So you're a big right shot D, 6'4", over 200 pounds. You're a big body for as young as you are. Can you describe yourself as a player for our Blue Jackets fans listening?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a two-way defenseman. I feel like I can get up and join the play. Help out. Defensively, shut people down. Can hit. Lay the body. I just feel like I can push the pace on the offensive side as well.
It seems like that was a common theme in the Blue Jackets draft this year. Big-bodied defensemen. On top of the defensemen, forwards that like to play physical as well with Caden Lindstrom. So now that you guys have all been together on the ice, what's that kind of like, everybody that shares that similar skill set?
It's definitely tough. The battle drills are, truly, just who can compete harder, stuff like that. It's just truly awesome, just always try to get better. So, yeah, it's really awesome, to come play against those big players, physical, hard players. So, yeah.
One thing that I'm always interested in for development camp is how a younger guy or a guy in a different league compared to some of these other guys stack up. So you being a younger player, 1 year in the USHL, how do you feel that you stack up compared to some of these other guys? Like, it has to be a great learning experience.
Yeah, no, I definitely learn a lot from these guys. They help me out. I just watch the reps, what they do. They play like pros. So it really helps me out. Really know what I want to be when I grow up. So
talk with Tanner Hendricks of the Blue Jackets. He's a defenseman. When you were describing your game, you said you feel as though you're a two-way defenseman. Mm-hmm. Be honest with me. Is there any defenseman alive that doesn't feel like they're a two-way defenseman?
No, I truly agree with that. I feel like everyone wants to be that two-way defenseman who can help out offensively. I feel like that's what the game's coming to right now. Just that the defenseman that could really, help push the play.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I mean, look, scoring goals is fun, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's great to keep the other team from scoring, but you like to score too. Who were some of the players that, you grew up idolizing and try to model your game after?
Definitely Charlie McAvoy. He's been my favorite player growing up, and I really just love the way he plays.
Yeah, and what do you love the most about how he does it?
Just his physicality. He sees the game well. He runs the power play well. He's super. He can be physical. I remember the game in playoffs. He stepped up and just laid the guy out. I think it was Florida, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, he stepped up and laid him out. And just love to see that.
What about with the Blue Jackets? It's another thing that I'm always wondering about, first of all, what the communication was like with the Blue Jackets going into the draft, if there was any, but just your overall familiarity with the Blue Jackets. You're an American defenseman. Of course, Zach Werenski is the number one here. So what do you know about the CBJ?
I definitely, growing up in California, I always, watch the Ducks, stuff like that. So, not too much, but during the year, I sort of talked to a couple different guys, learning about the program here and stuff like that. It was truly awesome. And I talked to them at the Combine as well. And, that was just amazing experience, great people there. So, yeah.
All right. You're committed to play collegiately at St. Cloud State. So how did the commitment process work, the recruitment process? Did you always want to be a college hockey player?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely wanted to go to college. But yeah, I lived in Minnesota for 5 years or so, so I sort of wanted to go back to college there. And, I met the coaches at St. Cloud. They're just super, super genuine people. And I went on a visit, met the players and stuff. It was truly an amazing experience. I could just imagine myself going there. So it was truly a dream come true to go to my, dream school.
What excites you the most about college hockey? Like, what are you looking forward to one day?
Definitely just like the atmosphere, I guess. Like St. Cloud's home rink, just there's a lot of college fans there. So that's definitely exciting, playing and just playing college hockey in general, I feel like is just a big enough thing.
So I think you have something in common with a lot of top hockey players. The fact that you went to Shattuck St. Mary's for a bit, like William Whitelaw out there, I think played with your brother at Shattuck. You played with the #1 overall pick in this year's draft in Macklin Celebrini. So tell me what the experience of playing at Shattuck was like, because I feel like it's very unique compared to some of the things that, we know as, Americans about prep hockey and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I feel like just, going to a boarding school, it helps you grow up faster, helps you mature faster. So I feel like that's just a huge aspect in, growing up is, who can grow up faster, I guess, in a way. So yeah, I mean, living with, everyone there in the dorms was super fun. All the, ice sessions were amazing. Get ice almost whenever you want in the morning, stuff like that. So it's truly an amazing experience.
I know a lot of people at Shattuck play other sports. Did you do any of that?
When we played hockey, I don't think you had to play another sport, but I think other, sports there did. Mm-hmm. But, the off season, there's a tennis court right there, basketball, me and a couple of the guys had brought rollerblades there. So we sort of skated around the tennis court and played roller hockey there.
Nice.
What are you going to major in college?
Math.
Math?
Yep.
What makes math so interesting? And I'm asking because...
Yeah, this is unique.
I'm a little bit in shock. Like, I'm not a big math guy. What makes you a big math guy?
I don't know. I just like numbers, I guess. Like, not numbers, like, not like accountant stuff, I guess, but, like, just like engineering, I guess. Like, I'm really a fan of engineering, just solving problems, I guess. That's just what I love doing.
Well, that's good as a defenseman. That's what you're supposed to do, is solve problems, right?
So, works together in a way.
All right. You're a California guy, and I think we need to get away from talking about non-traditional markets. Like, guys come from Arizona, guys come from Florida. A lot of guys come from California right now. You mentioned growing up and watching the Ducks. What was it, with all the things you can do in California, with all of the outdoor sports and with the great weather that you can have, what was it about hockey that attracted you?
So I actually tried multiple different sports before hockey, soccer, football, t-ball, stuff like that. But my brother wanted to try, free skating around just to try it out. And then I didn't join him for 2 weeks. Then I got tired of watching it. And then I stepped on the ice and just never looked back. So,
and was it tough at first?
It was tough. I don't really remember what happened.
How old were you when you did that?
6, around, probably 5, 6.
Which is kind of like, in today's world, is kind of late in a way, right? The Canadian guys are on skates. They're born and they're on skates next week, right?
Yep.
So for you, 6 years old is kind of not late, but it's a little bit older than some of these guys.
Yeah.
And in the first time, like, when you're falling down at first, like, at what point do you're 6 years old, you're like, I can't even stand. Enough of this. I know some kids, when my kids were starting, it was like pulling teeth until they could finally get the confidence to stand up.
No, yeah. I mean, my dad was there, helping me out, standing, holding my arm right by me and helping me skate. He was struggling skating as well. I'm pretty sure he never skated in his life before. So, it's definitely awesome.
See, that all of a sudden you and your dad are on the same wavelength, right?
Yep.
At the same level.
So we're learning at the same pace, sort of.
And then your brother's already skating, so you got to catch up with him.
Exactly. So we're sort of competing against each other, who can skate better, who can learn quicker.
Tell me about those early years and, playing as a kid and working your way all the way up to the AAA program there.
Yeah. I live in Minnesota, so I feel like that pond hockey against me and my brother, he's a forward, I'm a defenseman, so that really helps out skill-wise. We can just go out there, try new stuff. Yeah, just be creative, I guess. And I feel like that really just helps, have that creative aspect in your game, that you can just try stuff, and, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
He's a forward, you're a defenseman. Did it just work out like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just started defending him naturally. I feel like the older brother is like, I'm going to go score goals. I need somebody to practice against. So is that just how it happened for you guys?
It's sort of, but at the same time, no. And, when we moved, I actually started as a forward, and then I don't remember what team it was. I got switched to defenseman because that's the only spot that was open on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I took it, and then I just never looked back playing defense.
All right, away from the rink, what does Tanner Hendricks like to do?
definitely go to the beach, swim. I'm not a big surfer or anything like that, but definitely just playing spike ball on the beach, relaxing, hang out, I picked up pickleball at Lincoln, so that's definitely, fun sport.
All right, good. A lot of pickleball players around here in Columbus. We don't have the beach or anything like that, but at least we got pickleball for it. We can play spike ball out on the grass.
It is the first guy that we've ever talked to that I've heard is a big spike ball guy.
Yeah.
Let's kind of spike ball.
Yeah, spike ball on the beach is spike ball on the beach is great. Yeah.
So nice.
Two California guys.
It's just relaxing.
What's this week been like for you at development camp and coming to Columbus for the very first time? I know you're kind of sheltered in a way where it's basically the hotel and the arena, but they're on the same street and all that stuff. But just the experience. And, Dylan asked you about if your brother giving you advice on the draft experience. What about the development camp experience? Did he kind of help you to know what to expect when you got here?
He told me about his camp. It was tough, hard, a lot of hard work, and a lot of, got to recover properly. He taught me that. And just the atmosphere here, I love the downtown aspect. Walking from the hotel to the rink, I get to look around at the downtown, the brick pathways, stuff like that. It's truly amazing. That's sort of what Lincoln's like, so it's awesome.
So you're comfortable there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just okay. Well, that's great.
It's a college town after all. You said you like that feel. Columbus is a college town with Ohio State right down the road, so I'm glad you enjoy it.
That's awesome.
Once again, that's defenseman Tanner Henricks. He was selected by the Blue Jackets in the 4th round just a couple of weeks ago in Las Vegas. Dylan and I will be back to wrap up this week's edition of the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank, here on 97.1 The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony for the Good Feet store. 3 words for me: pain-free summer. Spent probably 30 hours walking around the Memorial Tournament and felt awesome with my personal arch supports from the Good Feet store in my everyday kicks. Sure, every now and then we all get random foot pain from pickleball or golf or just being a human being. Having my personally fit arch supports in my shoes has made a massive difference. And even right after I put them in, didn't take long to feel much more supported and aligned, and it's so easy to just move them into any pair. Before I had them, I dreaded being on my feet for any length of time. Well, you have nothing to lose but the pain, as they say. It's a free fitting and test walk. Try them for yourself. See the difference it can make. It did for me. And best of all, you can wear them home. 2 locations on Polaris Parkway and Stringtown Road, or schedule an appointment at goodfeet.com. The Good Feet store, America's arch supports experts.
You're not going to want to miss this. Diamonds Direct summer sale starts next weekend. For 3 days only, next Friday through Sunday, get 20% off. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, and more. Plus, book an appointment and get an additional $100 off. And designers are flying in from New York and LA to showcase their latest trends. That's 20% off, plus $100 off with an appointment and designer trunk shows. Tons of engagement rings on sale, too. 20% off starts next Friday. Details at diamondsdirect.com.
When you have to stop but don't really want to, stop at BP. Because BP has everything you need to keep it going. Fuel to keep the adventures going. The BP Me app to keep the savings and the commutes going. Snacks and drinks to keep the crew going. And the BP Me Rewards Visa to keep the rewards going and going and going. A stop at BP isn't a stop at all. Keep it going.
Rothman and Ice.
The normal thing is, if we're privileged enough to play for it, I hope we bring our best. But rarely would you hear a guy say natty or bust, because what that puts on it is natty or underachieve.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean, interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
Create career momentum with us at Worthington Steel. Whether you're a recent grad or a seasoned veteran looking to level up, we'll empower your journey. Join a team that puts people first with career development programs, competitive pay, and excellent benefits, including lower health insurance premiums than comparable companies. Let's drive steel forward together. Apply today at worthingtonsteel.com/careers. That's worthingtonsteel.com/careers.
Every breakaway, every penalty kill, every check into the boards, it all takes hard work. And hard work needs advanced rehydration. That's why the Columbus Blue Jackets choose Pedialyte as their official hydration partner. Pedialyte has twice the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading sports drinks. Hydrate like the pros and make Pedialyte a part of your exercise routine. Per liter, Pedialyte has at least 1,030 milligrams of sodium and no more than 25 grams of sugar. Leading sports drinks have approximately 460 milligrams of sodium and 58 grams of sugar.
Let's talk interest rates. Not that kind of interest. I mean interest in you. At First Merchants Bank, we are 100% interested in your success. Our bankers provide a level of attentiveness unlike any other. We're here to get to know you and to be a helpful partner in your financial success. Aren't you tired of your bank just saying they care about your business? Make the switch to First Merchants Bank and feel the difference of real, honest interest in you. First Merchants Bank. For a better banking experience, visit firstmerchants.com/switch, helping you prosper.
All Blue Jackets, all the time. This is the Inside Edge with Jody Shelley and Bob McElligott.
Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Getting ready to wrap up this week's edition of the Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. I'm Bob McElligott, alongside of Dylan Tyre. We just had a chance to hear from Charlie Ellick and Tanner Hendricks throughout the course of this show. A couple of big defensemen, Dylan. Charlie already playing in the WHL on the Western Hockey League and competing against some really tough competitors. And you've got Tanner. He's on the other end of the spectrum. He's getting ready to go to college. But again, they come out of a draft that had a theme to it. Big guys who can skate. And that's what's going to give both of them an opportunity to make some noise in this organization.
Yeah, it's very intriguing, all of the size that the Blue Jackets drafted on the blue line this year. As you said, I think it was a general theme in the NHL draft. Aaron Porcelain did a little bit of digging on that through the NHL, and the numbers revealed that this was how am I going to put this right here? I guess the tallest players were drafted this year since 1998, and a lot of them were defensemen, essentially. That's what we got to. So, yeah, it was there was a theme this year. I don't know what was in the water when all these guys were born, but it seems like, that birth year, everybody's big, which is good for the Blue Jackets. But they've got all these guys on the blue line now that are tall. They're a little bit mean, and they can all skate. That was another thing coming out of development camp that I think the coaches were a little bit blown away, just the skating ability of all these players. As far as it goes with Charlie Ellick, he mentioned in that interview that he kind of looks up to Denton Matejchuk, the guy that we talked about right off the top on the Inside Edge this evening, which I thought was really, really cool. But what I heard about Charlie Ellick was like, whoa, this guy can really skate. He is explosive. I would say anybody listening right now that's interested in Charlie Ellick, check out some of his highlights, because I think we talked to him about some Jacob Trouba similarities, the way he lays the body. I think they're pretty similar players, honestly. Like, I was watching some tape of Charlie Ellick last week, and that was the first guy that stood out to me, just his willingness to throw the body and kind of his explosiveness as a skater. He's a big right-shot defenseman. He and Denton Matejchuk could make a great pairing someday. I said that to him when we were done talking. But they really could. You think about the mobility of Denton Matejchuk on that left side. You think about the size and mobility of Charlie Ellick on the right. You've got a guy that can get involved in the play in Denton Matejchuk. You've got a guy that's more of a stay-at-home defenseman in Charlie Ellick. That is really, really forecasting the future. I mean, we're talking about 4 or 5 years down the line here, but that's certainly a possibility. With Tanner Hendricks, he's another guy that's very intriguing in that same sense. He's got some size to him, but I would say in comparison to Charlie Ellick, a little bit more raw. He played in the USHL this past season. He's going to play college hockey in the future, so a different path than Charlie Ellick, who's in the WHL. But another guy that's projectable. We didn't talk to Luke Ashton, who was the Blue Jackets defenseman that they drafted late out in Vegas, but he's 6'7", 250 pounds. He showed some stuff that I really liked at development camp, an ability to move at that size, a really heavy shot. Of course, that's going to come when you're that big, but there's some project defensemen that the Blue Jackets have drafted that really interests me. I'm excited to watch their development. I'm excited to get to know them more. That's what I do on my podcast, the Pipeline Podcast, throughout the season. But I would say, and I think it's more than fair to say, the future is bright for the Blue Jackets on that blue line specifically.
Well, there are a lot of people, and I will say a lot of you, that are worried about when the Blue Jackets are going to get a new head coach. And I'm not saying that we're not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. No, it's going to happen. And, Don Waddell said from the outset, the guys that are available today are going to be available tomorrow. And I know he's narrowing it down. And hopefully by the time we sit down next week, not only do we have somebody, but maybe we're talking to that somebody. That would be good. But don't get worried about that, because that's all going to take care of itself. And the Patrick Laine situation is another one that eventually is going to take care of itself. I saw some crazy stuff out there this week and people speculating on that. But, hey, you never know what's going to happen. But I won't. So to go back to it, I'm not worried about it. But, yeah, let's get a coach in here and just close the door on that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? I mean, it's that time, right? We got nothing else going on. As Don Waddell loves to say, nobody else in the NHL needs a coach right now besides the Blue Jackets, so it's not like it's a pressing issue that you're trying to beat other teams to signing somebody, but it's about that time, right? You want to do it. Everybody wants to get to their cottages, relax for the summer, so let's get this last little bit of business done and chill out for a bit.
Except for Don. He wants to get moved from, Carolina, and I think he might have a place in Atlanta, too. He wants to get, stuff here in Columbus and get his life taken care of. But, yeah, I mean, there's a downtime that has to be had in the hockey world, and that downtime is really getting upon us. So Todd McClellan, Dean Evison, Jay Woodcroft, those are the names that have been bantered about for the last couple of weeks, because they're all guys that fit the criteria. They're former NHL coaches. Don Waddell has said we've got to have somebody with experience to come in here and set the tone and do things right. So that doesn't mean it wouldn't be one of those three. It doesn't mean that he couldn't go and get somebody else that has not been in that grouping, but also has the qualifications. So we'll wait and see. So hopefully by next week, we can talk all about that. But until then, we are still in wait-and-see mode. So thanks for joining us here tonight. Glad you had the opportunity to meet a couple more Blue Jackets prospects. We'll do it again for you next week. Coach or not, we're still going to keep introducing you to prospects, and so you can be up to date by the time training camp gets here in September. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of The Inside Edge, presented by First Merchants Bank. For Dylan Tyre, I'm Bob McElligott. Thanks for listening to 97.1 The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Carpenter Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electric, and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
America's favorite car show returns to Columbus with a jam-packed weekend of cool cars, cool people, and good times. It's the Good Guys 26th Summit Racing National, and it's all happening this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Cruise on out with your family and friends and check out over 6,000 of the country's coolest classics on display. And don't miss Good Guys CPP Autocross Racing action, Nitro Thunderfest, a huge swap meet and vendor midway, live music, family fun, and so much more. It's Ohio's biggest hot rod and party of the summer, and it's all going down this weekend at the Ohio Expo Center. Get details at good-guys.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. If you need a new roof but you're not sure you can afford it, no problem. Right now, Able Roof is offering no payments, no interest until 2026 for qualified buyers. Yep, that's the same Able Roof that's been voted the #1 roofing company in Columbus by Consumer Choice Awards 22 years in a row. Want more? Able Roof will give you up to $1,000 off a new roof, siding, or windows. This is a limited time offer, so call Able Roof today.
Call Able for the proof. 444-ROOF.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
Meet Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Maryhaven.
More and more people are falling into problem gambling. It can happen so quickly that you don't realize it until you face a crisis. Gambling issues often connect to depression, anxiety, or other addictions. Mary Haven's experts offer comprehensive care. You and your loved ones can count on mental, emotional, and financial guidance.
Confidential and judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.